Hello, it's July 2023, and this video is inspired by some links that people have sent me with regards to a topic that's been kind of going viral for people who really follow, for example, woo-woo, or as a more common descriptive, supernatural stuff or whatever. And someone had sent me a link to TikTok. Now, I don't have a TikTok account, don't care to. As I've said in other videos, I don't really care for social media overall. I only have it really to get my story out and my efforts known, because the topics that I do primarily talk about are very important. Anyway, I digress. And the past few days, it kind of this topic had kind of exploded through different chats and talking with people and everything else. So I thought I'll just do a real quick video, because it does tie in or apply to any topic we see in the world today. Now, what I'm specifically talking about, there's a video I remember seeing 2-3 weeks ago of a woman who, as a descriptive, appeared to have gone a little bit off the wall on an airplane. And she was yelling that someone in the back wasn't a real person. What that means exactly, what she had seen, who knows. And there's not very much information about her. Apparently there was no arrests made for her disruption or anything. I haven't been able to find anything yet about this individual. Now, that's not really the focus here, because what I want to talk about, as I just said, can apply to any topic, whether it be something related to her video or the video that was taken of her, to other types of, for example, woo-woo, to even everyday stuff we see in the world today, as a descriptive with truthers and freedom types. So what I really want to focus on is how, in today's world, the story of the boy who cried wolf is long gone. And that was a children's story. And just for anyone who's not familiar with the story, I'm just going to do a real quick summary here. It's about a boy. He was looking after sheep. I'm trying to go off memory here. And he was bored, wanted attention, so he would yell or alarm that there's wolves or a wolf or something. The townspeople would come out, realize he was lying, and this happened several times. And finally one day, a real wolf showed up. Could have been more than one wolf, and killed some sheep or whatever happened in the story. But no one came because they just assumed that he was lying. Now, this is the key part, because we see a lot of people, especially when it comes to topics of woo-woo. Again, you know, as a descriptive, supernatural is a more common term people can relate to. I personally don't like to use that term. And there's, you know, talking about cryptids and all this other stuff. And then people are posting their nonsense, their lies. And initially they'll try to come across, or do come across, as being legitimate. Sometimes they admit later, oh yes, you know, it was just a prank, just to get social media likes. And that's pretty sad in itself. But anyway, so we see a lot of people who are basically pranking, crying wolf. And one particular individual that someone had drawn my attention to ended up saying, yeah, if you read the description box of this TikTok thing, you would see that I was lying about the whole thing. And then there was a video that was before that where they were asserting again that this was true. They don't care if no one believes them. And then the original video of the person who was claiming to have been on the plane, seen the woman, and this guy's eye blinked differently than normal. Okay, so that's basically the story behind this individual. Now, this individual is trying to say, well, this was a social experiment, it was a joke. If you read and how people, I guess he tried to put a spin on it because he was getting a lot of backlash saying, you know, people just blindly believe. Well, if it was some sort of nonsensical social experiment, there's a couple of very key points that this individual failed to consider. One, not everyone has a TikTok account, which means when you try to read a description or even comments to that video, you have to sign up. I'm not about to sign up, and nor is a lot of other people. So you can't read anything in the description box. You know, someone sends a link to TikTok, you can watch the video, but unless you have the account, you can't really do anything more with it. So that's the first major error in his claim, after getting a lot of backlash, that it was a social experiment and trying to make a point that people blindly believe. More importantly, this person has failed to consider, probably because they themselves don't think that woo-woo or supernatural stuff is real. And again, that's just an assumption. I don't know why they would not even consider this. Probably they don't care. They just want a higher status in social media with likes and all that and sharing. That there are people out there who do truly have these woo-woo or supernatural experiences, who will, for example, hear something that he would say or someone else, and again, not having a TikTok account to read anything, you know, default to this is probably true. Because when you experience something that's out of the ordinary, especially if you experience a lot of it throughout your life, it's a lot easier to say, well, yeah, I'm not the only one, other people must as well. So it's not just people, as he said in his video, who want this to believe or want this to be true. There are people who actually experience stuff, who know these things are real and true. And if for example, if he happens to say something that somebody who has a real experience can relate to, boom. And then, you know, they would share the story and so forth. And yeah, there is to some degree some vetting that could be done, but after the fact. So initially when people put out, and this guy is not the only one, there's apparently a lot of other fake people out there putting out information about that flight and everything else. And that's a problem, because you have these people, if you want to call them that, who really muddy the waters and discredit people who truly have experiences. Now, how does this relate to truthers and freedom fighters and as a descriptive, more down-to-earth topics? There's a lot of people who make a lot of sensational claims about their efforts, say, for example, for freedom and everything else, and other people simply buy into it, again, without vetting. Now, when you get into more, keeping with the descriptive, earthly perspectives topics, you can vet that and apply some logic and common sense, say with law or whatever is going on. Yeah, you can really see, okay, well, this is not as what's being described, or you can see how things played out. Now, in these types of topics, yes, people, if they don't have, say, for example, knowledge base of law, then they will assume, without vetting anything or getting another perspective, they'll just accept it because they want it to be true. And I've said this many times, how people don't care, like, for example, truthers and freedom fighters don't care what the truth is, just it's what they want the truth to be. And we see this for the mainstream types as well. People don't start digging in deep, and there's been countless of stuff over the years where people send me stuff, and you know, I take a few extra steps and it's like, yeah, this is, you know, whatever. There's maybe a few times where it's like, okay, this is legitimate. But the problem we see in our civilization today, and this kind of ties in with busybodies. We see the rise of the busybodies who do more harm than good to our civilization. It chips away and destroys the social cohesion within societies. And it kind of ties in that we also see a rise of the types of people who cry wolf, especially with online social media, because everyone wants to jump aboard, and for them what's really important is getting likes. And there's a lot of videos people have broken down showing how social media has been very destructive to individuals and groups and society overall, and that's a whole different topic. But this is a real problem when you have people, whether it be about something woo-woo, supernatural, cryptids, whatever the topic is, all the way to more down-to-earth topics. It comes to freedom fighting, whistleblowing, exposing, and everything else. There's a lot of fake people out there, and it's become socially acceptable. And people who are legitimately, say, maybe had an experience or are curious about these experiences, are trying to learn and research, and then you have these people who are basically turds in the human gene pool, muddying the waters. Sometimes, most of the time, perhaps, just for social likes, so their channels or whatever these things are called on these other platforms. It's, you know, this is the world that we live in. And this kind of reminds me real quick, just to finish up here, on that story of the prisoner who had the choice between choosing bread and a key to get out of prison. And there's many explanations why the prisoner chose the bread over the key and what they mean symbolically and everything else. And you can really complicate the uncomplicated with dissecting why would someone choose the bread over the key. But some very basic fundamental views on this is the prisoner didn't know how to use the key, for example, and they chose the bread. Even if they opened the cell with the key, doesn't mean that they're set free. You know, there'd be other keys that would need to be found or whatever. So they chose the bread. The bread being, for example, they were hungry. And again, all these interpretations are just based on assumptions and logical fallacies, but anyway. So they went after something immediate gratification. And these examples that I just kind of shared is a reflection of society, again, overall today, where people would want instant gratification, and perhaps the key representing truth, people don't know how to use it, and if they realize that that key is truth, then what? How many more keys are going to be needed? And it doesn't mean that they're set free and so forth. But anyway, I just really want to highlight again where we are in civilization. We are at the late stage of the last stage of civilization, the age of decadence, again. And we repeat history because history is forgotten either by chance or design. And what always follows is our demise. And there are also patterns, literal 100-year patterns within the cycles of civilization. I've talked about this in other videos. And all this, whether you want to think that that woman, for example, on the plane is just crazy, or maybe she did experience something, or maybe she believes. To believe is to make an uninformed conclusion that she experienced something, or whatever. Society has to deal with people who cry wolf, and it's become acceptable. And this type of behavior is, or contributes to the downfall of this civilization. Anyway, just wanted to give you some things to think about. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.
The question was, would anyone detect that we were sane? The answer was, no. No one ever did.
simply are going to be removed. Listen to this and write it down if you can't remember it. You're never going to outgrow warfare. You simply must learn to fight. I hear people saying to me, oh, when is it going to get easier? When you die.